Hello Ratbags, it's Jade. Welcome to a special Grounded video. Today we're going to be taking a look at maybe the future of Grounded. Obviously we've seen a lot of the items, a lot of the new creatures possibly coming. I've shown you guys maybe the water update in lots of different videos. But I want to talk about all the other areas under construction today. So we're going to have a little flyby and I kind of want you guys to give me your opinion about what could be coming. I'm going to give you some of my guesses and we're going to have some information we've learned from the last few weeks about the potential for maybe the house being a big part of the game in the future. So yeah, let's go through the potential future of Grounded. So obviously this may be quite spoiler specific, so look away now if you really don't want to know or even talk about what's happening. But there was obviously a limited amount of content in Grounded at launch. We've pretty much gone through quite a lot of it. You guys, I know, have had loads of fun killing spiders, exploring places like the hedge, but you're already looking forward to what else is going to be added to the map. And that's kind of what we're going to be looking at. More about the map, what could be added in the future. So the water update though is where we start. This is what most people are assuming is going to be coming on the 26th of August, so only a few days away as of this recording. Water plants, the lilies, and then we've also got that big massive lantern statue thing there as well, and we've got the dinosaur statue and we've got the laboratories. So we all kind of know that's like the next part of the story because it seems to be the most functional, even more functional than some of the other secret laboratories we've already found. But what is next? How many areas actually are there on the map that need lots of work or will have more content added to it? Well, let's start with the water update and possibly the bees. We know the bees are going to be coming to the roses, so that's going to be happening very soon. And we know we're going to be getting all sorts of different resources, things like the cattail fluff off the top of these. No one really knows how we're going to get them though, because it looks like maybe you just hack away at it, we're not too sure. But a lot of you guys were saying that this pond right here, where obviously there is a great big under construction signs, this where actual koi fish may end up being, and that we won't find koi fish just swimming around in a lower pond. Is actually going to be here that we're going to find the koi fish. That could potentially be the case, you know, but I don't know. I feel like this area is still going to be reserved for something else. So far, as we've kind of assumed that bosses will always be where the frisbees are or where the discs are. There's one in the hedge. If we zoom right over, just to show you guys briefly, just in case you have been missing it, obviously this is where the broodmother spawns, and that's been confirmed that is a boss creature. So wherever one of these are, we're assuming that's where we're going to find a world boss. Now in the version of Grounded you're probably playing on the Xbox, or if you're not using the mods or cheats on PC, there is normally a frisbee kind of right in the middle of the pond. But since this AR test world, which I'm using right now, it's been moved all the way over here. Now that seems a pretty easy spot to get to if it is indeed where there's going to be another boss fight. But so what kind of boss fight is it going to be? Is it going to be the koi fish? That's what I kind of think. I think we're going to get a koi fish here. I think it's quite shallow, but I still think it will probably just want to swim around this area here, and we're going to end up fighting it on this location. Otherwise, if it's not a koi fish as an actual boss, then maybe it's going to be a different type of bell spider. We know the water spiders are in the game, so maybe it'll be like the broodmother, which is getting its updated skin, by the way. The developers have stated in interviews that they will be changing the appearance of the broodmother, but at the moment it just looks like a regular wolf spider or all weaver. Well, there's two of them there. But yeah, going by that theory that these are always the places where you're going to find bosses, there will be some sort of boss fight going down here, if that's what they're carrying on doing with these discmans. So for me, that's two choices then. We're either going to have the koi floating around, maybe near that discman as a boss fight, or potentially the koi will be in this pond all on their own. They're the only fish that don't necessarily spawn straight away, although I've been told that if you leave the AR test world running for a good half an hour, they will start swimming around in the water. And if it's nothing to do with this area, maybe no koi fish are going to be coming, no creatures added to it just yet, then what is it going to be? I mean, it's a pretty substantial area. It has been marked off. Unlike a lot of other places that have kind of naturally got their own borders, it does seem like they've put this here for a very good reason, to have some sort of new area for the map added eventually. And when you think about the area that it stretches, this is all one big flower bed. That's where it's located. That's what it's called when you go through the secret little laboratory that is hidden here. Now, I've done these preview videos in a lot more detail before. I've shown you guys how you can get in here legit, even on an Xbox. But, you know, It is kind of also quite close to the flower bed, so I think there'll probably be some more stuff added here as well. And obviously, since it's a flower bed, maybe it's going to be a bigger selection of flowers. It'd be really cool, interesting if there are more flowers that give you more sort of buffs or abilities. Maybe we can get more poisonous flowers. Maybe there could be like nightshade in here. Something that we can grab and use as different armor or ammo types, particularly for the bow. That would be interesting if we could do something like that. So that's just 2 areas really, and there's so much space for the map to carry on growing. So pretty much it's all of this area here. Here's the koi pond, and then that's the flower bed, and then obviously this area all around here is the hedge. But what about the other side of the map? Well, so far the weed killer area has kind of been a bit of a letdown. You do need to get in here to get a few resources, obviously from the sort of termites, the infected ones or the weevils, but really there's not much point going here just yet. Obviously you can make the gas mask to go and explore some of these areas a lot better, a lot easier, but overall you don't really need to come here. We know that obviously it's got the underground lab, and again I've shown you guys all this before, so I don't really want to just keep rinsing and repeating, but it does signify like some significance. Also the burgle chips, there is a burgle chip listed as a weed killer burgle chip, so we are going to be coming here to find a burgle chip that will unlock new base parts or new weapons or new items. So again, that means we're going to be exploring this area hopefully a little bit more, and I kind of want there to be a good reason. I want this place to carry on being dangerous, but I want us to actually have to visit it regularly to get items. I kind of like the idea of these mushrooms being a specific type of mushroom that will do something, or maybe we can harvest and gather this resource. It's a pretty weird, interesting product. I would like to think we could do something with it. Maybe it will make a, I don't know, maybe it can make you a super strong suit. Maybe it will be used as a super adhesive that you could maybe stick on to climb up walls. But yeah, it feels like a bit of a waste that it's just at the moment dressing. Like there's no real reason for it being here other than we kind of guessing it's being left by the infected creatures that have escaped some of the laboratories that we know are all the way hidden down below. And the weed killer itself, it feels like this should be a boss fight. There should be something here. I quite like the area underneath it as well. Feels like there definitely should be something we've got to locate. Maybe this will be where we get the burgle chip. I think that's probably a good shout. And then obviously we've got all of these areas to go and explore, and we're going to be utilising. Again, it's a mixture of dead grass. There's going to be some big story item here, it feels like. There's electrical cables down here. So again, it looks like there's something interesting going to be happening in this in the future. At the moment, it's pretty plain. It's just very basic, plain looking cables. But you can see the ground has been dug out for a particular reason. So is there going to be a big story beat that we're going to have to go here and explore, and maybe gain access to, or fix maybe the electrical wires? Probably a bit too much to just go around fixing these. These look like proper industrial ones rather than some of the homemade stuff we've seen in some of the lasers there. But we've got such a big area here. There is such a massive area, and we've got a couple different spaces. In fact, it's kind of branched out into 3 different biomes. We've got the sandbox. Now, they've removed the sandcastle that was here. Are they going to bring that back? Was it just a little Easter egg just put there, or a bad idea that they've decided they don't want to do? It was very plain. There wasn't any grass. I kind of like the idea of this eventually being filled with proper sand. I would love it if it was a full sandbox and they made it into a huge boss arena. I mean, it's a pretty good area. When you're flying around it looks a little bit smaller, but actually when you get closer and you are kind of just skating around the area, there's definitely room for adding like a big desert biome. Maybe they can have some of the other creatures you guys have been talking about, more desert likes. Although, I don't know, mantises, I feel like they'd be way too big unless there's like a baby version of a mantis that we could have floating around. Or maybe the mantis would be a boss, a big massive one that it takes 4 players to take on, or about 200 arrows. So yeah, I really hope that this area does become a proper sandbox environment, and it does become a real challenge to get here, and you're going to need so much water to get across, or to get whatever resource there is. Maybe it will be a building set. That's the other thing as well. Sand does go well as like a sandstone build set, so it'd be nice to get another tile set where we could actually build something out of sand rather than just the branches from the grass or the weed stems. It'd be nice to have another resource to build with. And then there is still this area here as well. I mean, this is quite a large area just to have at the back and nothing going on, although it's probably going to be just a bit fillerish. I don't think they're probably going to do too much in this zone, but you can see there's all sorts of things going on here. We've got loads of clovers. In fact, I didn't realise there were so many clovers on this side of the map. So yeah, lots of possibilities. Obviously, we are going to be talking about the house, but I want to save that for last. Let's go back over towards the shed area. So if we go across, obviously we've got this great big stump as well, and this could be a perfect spot for a creature, a boss fight, or something in the bottom here. And again, I feel like this is placeholder stuff. It just means they're going to remove this, and we'll have something decent that we're going to need to explore. At the moment, you go underneath it, and there's nothing going on. There's no items hidden or anything, but there's obviously some sort of significance. You guys have said I've not tested it out yet, but apparently you can take damage if you go underneath this torch when you're your character or yourself. So obviously we've got the big flame there, and I've been saying it'd be cool if you have to actually craft something in the hot light sunlight. That would be interesting if it was like an end game item or a quest item that you had to bring here to craft, because it was the only way. Obviously we've got the sunshine going through it. So yeah, that's pretty interesting area. Could it be a new area for a boss? Is it just going to be filled with lots of spiders like the other tree trunk or the other full tree? I'm not too sure, but again, that's quite a big space we've got here and we're not really utilising. And then of course we've got the picnic bench. Now the picnic bench is obviously massive. Is there going to be something up here? I feel like this is probably still just quite dressy. I don't think we're going to necessarily be building stuff to get up here unless we can come up with a way that we have a flying suit. I know we've got the sort of dandelion tufts, but that's not really flying upwards, is it? But to get up here, I've built it before. You've seen my bug battle videos I've done. It takes a lot of stairs, a lot of building pieces. And if that's the intention for the devs, that we have to get up here to actually do something, I don't know. Maybe again, it could be a boss battle. And again, this area, we know this is all going to be worked on because it's all marked off as under construction. So we definitely know they're going to be doing stuff here. Who knows, maybe they'll change it. Maybe they won't have the bench here in the long term. It'll be something different. Then we've got obviously even more flower beds. Although I will say that some areas definitely still need a bit of an uplift. Like the wetlands are okay, but there definitely needs to be more creatures and more reasons to come here. Yes, we need clay, and this is where you will get lots of clay. But at the moment, you're only building foundation pieces with the clay. It'd be interesting if we could have clay and sand to make that build set, a proper build set out of something a bit more, well, lasts a bit more than clay, because clay's pretty rubbish at the moment as a build piece. Yeah, and then obviously we've got these areas here. And again, we know this is going to be something. We know this is going to be an area that we're going to be coming to. Could they do something really wild? Could they have an ice box or bags of ice that make the whole area cold? That's what I was kind of surmising in a few other videos I've spoken about that. You could have maybe a cold biome by having a broken ice box, and that would spread the ice around, because it just wouldn't make sense to have a snow biome in the middle of summer, because that's what the game is kind of really set. But this is quite a big area. You can see it sort of marches on, so we know this is going to be something they're going to focus on in the future too. And honestly, I'm at a loss as to what could be here other than just more grass. You know, again, this is all placeholder stuff. Will it be extra flowers? Will there be something more? Maybe they'll put some remnants of some toys as you like walking up towards the shed. And this is kind of meant to be the path, which I've only just realised. And that is mad. I've only just realised, looking at it from this viewpoint, that that is the path. That's what these rocks are. I hadn't really contemplated that, or I hadn't really realised. You just get so used to going up to it, you don't actually think about what it actually is. But yeah, it is a path that's going to take you. Admittedly, it's a really rocky path. You definitely trip and break a few legs going up here. And then, of course, we've got the big biome up here. And this is the barbecue area. And you guys rightly pointed out that when I spoke about some of the rocks that could be coming, it turns out the other rocks are just in use. The sandstone rock, and it's just another name for rock. At the moment, anyway, you don't get any extra resources when you break it down. It's just a normal rock, just for dressing in other places. But there was a charcoal-like one, and I called it obsidian, I called it quartzite, I called it everything under the sun, and you lot were like, dude, it's charcoal. It comes from the barbecue. That's a pretty good shout. So are we going to be doing something here? Are we going to have to set the barbecue alight, or is there just going to be some collectibles? Is it just a case of coming here to get the charcoal or the coal? Maybe it's either one or both, who knows. But yeah, it does seem like we'll be coming in to collect that to be useful for something in the future. And then obviously we've got the shed. I know everyone kind of wants to go inside the buildings. I had originally thought they would never touch the house, but after the interview they gave recently with some news outlets and some YouTubers, they did talk about possibly visiting the house. So we'll go through that in a minute. But you've seen some of these Easter eggs by now. Well, you should have done. I showed you guys they've got a card there from their game Pillars of Eternity. So yeah, this is a fairly big area. Could this be something? Could this be another area to explore? As I said, originally I was like, nah. It's not going to be something. There's no way they're making the inside of a shed. But it really could be interesting. I'm thinking about all the things you have in a shed. You have lots of pot plants and old bits and bobs, a lawnmower. You'll have tools and weapons, a workbench. There's loads of things you could put in here that would be interesting to go around and explore. I think even more interesting than exploring a house. I feel like with a house, you've kind of... It might be okay to run along some carpet pieces and stuff, but I still feel that a shed would have a lot more interesting stuff, particularly with the story, where it's a bit sciencey. We're trying to work out what's going on. There's stuff going on with Omnicore, and maybe they're getting bits from the shed, because that's where they get a lot of the electrical items and stuff like that. So that could be a part of the story in the future too. And not as DLC, guys. They've said they not rule it out, but they focus on just working on the game. And then we've probably got the biggest stretch of area that could be a million things or nothing. This is just huge. You keep going all the way along it and you are just going to keep running into grass upon grass upon grass. It feels like there's going to be something added here. I feel like this is probably just a bit too large, obviously just to keep us a gentle slope of grass going all the way up, even if they added different flowers and different bits and bobs here. This needs something. Maybe it could be a fountain, who knows? Maybe it could be a football pitch. Maybe it can be like a soccer pitch, or, you know, maybe it could be a basketball court. Since we've got the miniature hoops in the game, maybe they could have a little miniature basketball net up here and just a tiny little courtyard. There's a bunch of things they could do, but it's massive. I mean, this area is pretty much as big as the rest of the map. Obviously, when you go around, again, you've got more of the Easter eggs with the potato people. I'm guessing that's not going to be anything. And it kind of just, yeah, it kind of feels like obviously very, very unfinished. We just don't know yet. And it is going to lead out onto a road. So maybe there could be another gateway leading to the side alley. Now, I've just realised, though, there is the basketball pitch or the basketball hoop over there. So I guess that's made my idea a bit redundant. It is literally about the same size when you think about the map being split. It's almost as big as the rest of the map. So just think how much content or how much room there is for items to go in the rest of Grounded. And it's good stuff. I think we definitely need that, guys. I do see it. I know people think, oh, just shut up about the adding more content. It's because I have seen quite a few comments now with people just saying that they've rinsed the game out already, that there's just nothing to do, they need more items. And obviously there's the big construction sign saying that it's all going to be coming as well. So yeah, a big space, they could do all sorts of things here. Maybe there'll be a smaller tent, maybe it'll be where the kids go to camp. And maybe we'll find a big tent and a big little camping yard and or picnic blankets and stuff like that. Loads of different ideas. You guys let me know what you think is going to be there. I don't think these slopes are going to stay though. Unless they plan to make this, like I said, a rubbish area. Maybe they'll put it a tip, because it is meant to be like a crazy inventor. How else do you explain why he's got all this stuff here? So maybe this could be filled with scientific junk. Maybe it could almost be like a city made out of junk and fridge freezers and refrigerators and cookers and all sorts of things, and it would almost feel like a city because the way it just been dumped and placed everywhere. That'd be pretty cool, like a junkyard city. Yeah, a junkyard city. Imagine that in Grounded. Cyberpunk confirms. That's what's coming, guys. No, I'm joking, obviously, but that would be pretty cool. Yeah, a junkyard city. Devs, make it happen. I want a junkyard city based on Cyberpunk. Since the devs really like Cyberpunk, as they made a little bit of a joke about it recently, that's what I want there. And then obviously we're back here again, and we know that again, as I said, this is going to be some sort of area as well next to the koi fish. So that is substantial. When you count it up, we've got the sand pit, we've got the tree trunk, we've got the stone and flower bed there, we've got the rounded area around the shed, got the potential of inside the shed, then we've got that huge, great, big, massive land, then we've still got the pond, and then we've still got next to it. That's 8 different, separate, distinct areas for me. Sure, they may meld them into one or call it one or the other, but that's what it feels like to me. Doesn't mean there's going to be 8 biomes, but it does feel like that's an opportunity to have 8 different sets of new stuff going into the game. And clearly that's what they're going to do in the future. Let's talk about the house. I don't know. I felt like I didn't want the house to be something we went in. I felt like the yard was the main focus. Like, that's where you're surviving against these bugs. In a house, how hard is it going to be? What could be in the house? And then I guess you could have really big creatures, but they'd be too big. We're meant to be pretty tiny. So if we start seeing like rats or mice running around, as much as I'd love a little rat bag running about, I'm just not too sure. But the devs have said they're contemplating it. They're looking at it. They think it'd be interesting. Not guaranteeing it, but they are thinking about stuff possibly inside the house. So maybe it'll just be like a mission structure. Maybe it'll be one quest only to maybe finish the game, that you've got to get and adjust the power supply. We obviously got a massive cable coming out of the dish into the window, so maybe we've got to make our way up a complicated system of pipes, or we've got to get climbing gear, and eventually we're going to have to do something to do inside the house to really fix whatever's going on with the Omnicore and Wendell. You know, maybe Wendell needs our help, or maybe we've got to get ourselves big by going in here and turning on the power or doing something. Obviously this whole area is gated off, so we definitely know they're going to be doing something to the deck for sure, but maybe the house, I don't know. I kind of don't want them to do it. I just feel like it would be a bit too cliched, running around Lego parts, stuff like that. Maybe there's be something here. Again, more boss fights. I always say boss fights because that's what I feel like these big areas would have. Like, there's just not really, there's no resource that you're going to be gathering here, unless it's something like lint or dust, or unless they put something else up here that we need, like some pot plants, like an aloe vera plant. Maybe we've got to go here and it will give us some extra healing abilities by going up to a pot plant or something like that. So there we go. That is me having a big old talk, pretty much non-stop, about the biomes and the map of Grounded and what I think, or I hope, comes in the future. I want you guys to let me know. What do you think the sandbox is going to be? Is it going to be, are they going to add the castle back? Are they going to make it into a sandbox? Or is it going to be just where it is now and just some more plants and some more bits, obviously, and something there, but maybe not the sands? Do you think they'll ever add snow to the map? Is there an opportunity for that? Are we going to go inside the shed? Are we going to go inside the house? And more for me, even interesting than the house, is what this big old area is going to be. Like, it's just huge. It's absolutely massive. Currently at the moment, there's no real path up to it other than going alongside the shed there. So yeah, some things to think about. I am JPG. Let me know what you think about it. Make sure you like it, subscribe, go and check out all the Grounded content. I'm going to be with you every step of the way for every single update when they drop, the gameplay guides you need. And I'll see you ratbags laters.